6 scanners, 3,500 AI-generated code files, combined detection rate 7.6%. A formal solver read the same code. 55.8% were proven broken. The models already knew. When asked to look, they caught 78.7% immediately. The knowledge was there. Default generation never reached for it. Where in your systems does that gap exist?
Let's get into it.
In April 2026, a formal mathematics engine read 3,500 pieces of AI-generated code and proved that more than half were broken, not suspicious, not flagged. Proven. 6 industry scanners read the same code and found almost nothing. This is the Hamberger report. I'm Andreas Hamberger, enterprise architect and open source AI governance practitioner, Wellington. The study is from Cobalt AI in Gatineau, Quebec. Dominique Blaine and Maxime Noiseux fed 500 security critical prompts across 7 language models and passed every artifact through Z3, a satisfiability modulo theories solver from Microsoft Research. Z3 does not pattern match. It produces a mathematical proof that a specific execution path exists, which triggers the vulnerability condition. 55.8% of the artifacts were formally proven vulnerable. The 6 industry scanners combined flagged 7.6% of all artifacts. On the subset Z3 had formally proven, the scanners missed 97.8%. The per model results remove the easy explanation. Vulnerability rates ranged from GPT-4o at 62.4% graded F down to Gemini 2.5 Flash at 48.4% graded D. Every model received a failing or near failing grade. The failure is structural. The static analysis tools are not broken. They are doing exactly what they were built to do, against the wrong target. A static analyzer matches known patterns, buffer overflows in familiar idioms, injection sinks in recognized frameworks, the textual shapes that a decade of human-written vulnerabilities taught the tooling to recognize. AI-generated code does not look like human code. It often avoids the surface patterns a scanner recognizes while keeping the semantic floor underneath. Z3 operates at a different level entirely. It asks whether any execution path can satisfy the vulnerability condition, and it answers with a proof. The scanner reads the surface. The proof reads the behavior. The 97.8% gap is the distance between those two levels. Measured, the most counterintuitive result in the paper is not the size of the gap between scanner and solver. It is what happens when you ask the generating model to look at its own output. The researchers took 89 of the Z3 proven vulnerable artifacts and fed them back to the models that had generated them, asking each model to review its own output. 70 of the 89 were correctly flagged, a detection rate of 78.7%. Mistral Large detected 100%. The paper names this the generation review asymmetry. The model can identify the problem when explicitly asked to look. It does not look by default. The safety knowledge exists. It is simply not wired into the act of producing the output. Closing that gap requires architecture, forcing the check to happen externally every time. Vera episode 23, open source. If you are following the architecture, subscribe now and you will have episode 24 the moment it publishes next Saturday. Vera does not verify code. The Cobalt AI study is a code security result. Vera is an ontological verification system for existence claims in natural language. These are categorically distinct domains. The one principle that bridges the code domain and Vera's domain, and the only one, is this. External formal verification catches what internal heuristic checking misses. A generating model in default mode can produce an existence claim it would flag as uncertain if explicitly prompted to check it. That is the generation review asymmetry, transposed from program semantics to natural language assertions. Vera's E. When the Crumpets load analyzer classifies a generation stream claim as E-type, the E-service pauses generation, extracts the subject entity, and queries the external corpus directly. It does not ask the generating model whether its claim is reliable. The model's internal state is never consulted, exactly as Z3 never asks the model whether its code is safe. If you are working in AI governance or enterprise security, Lethal by Design runs every Friday on this channel and examines the accountability gap across defense and commercial AI deployment. In June 2026, the RAND Corporation published a formal verification report for trustworthy AI deployment. 1 month earlier, Cobalt AI published a scanner study. 2 independent analyses from opposite directions reached the same conclusion. The RAND report drew on 23 experts across formal methods, AI infrastructure, cybersecurity, and hardware architecture. It concludes that formal verification can address code-level correctness in machine learning stacks, memory safety, access control, protocol enforcement. Weight integrity and supply chain threats were rated most urgent. They did not coordinate, they converged. The governance asymmetry between states becomes measurable here. United States Department of Defense Directive 3000.09 requires verification and validation of autonomous weapon functions before fielding. An Article 36 weapons review under the 1977 Additional Protocol 1 obliges a state to determine before deployment whether a new means of warfare can be used lawfully. Both ask for evidence about what software does, not assurances about what a vendor believes. A state that can formally verify autonomous systems code can produce accountability evidence on demand. Verifies EFI verification service answers that same question within its domain every time generation runs. For teams deploying AI coding assistance, the operational lesson is narrow and concrete. A clean static analysis pass is necessary, but no longer sufficient as a security gate. It tells you the code does not match known bad human patterns. It does not tell you the code is safe.
The European Union Cyber Resilience Act activates vulnerability reporting obligations for products with digital elements from September 2026. New Zealand firms exporting software into the European market will fall under those obligations, and AI-generated code that ships with formally provable vulnerabilities is precisely the artifact class the Act targets. The 5-country Council guidance on careful adoption of agentic AI services, co-authored by New Zealand's National Cybersecurity Advisory Body in May 2026, already names supply chain risk as a category. You cannot rely on the model to catch its own errors in the act of producing them. The knowledge being present is not the same as the knowledge being applied. Put the check outside the system, make it formal, and run it every time.
Vera is open source. The architecture that forces an external existence check at every E-type claim, the Crumpets load analyzer, the E-verification service, and the supporting modules is in the repository. Vera does not verify its own reasoning and does not eliminate hallucination. It checks existence claims against an external corpus, and that is the whole of what it does. The intellectual foundation is from 1992. The engineering is from 2026. Both are open. Where have you watched a security gate passcode that turned out to be broken, or an AI system assert something it could not support? Drop it in the comments. The pattern matters.
That is the Hamberger report for today. If this was useful, subscribe and hit the like button. It helps more professionals find the channel. You will find links to everything we covered in the description below. I am Andreas Hamberger, and I will see you tomorrow.
Like and subscribe.